Okay, back on. Um, so what is this going to be on about? It's going to be on about a few different things. One, the entheogenic world. Now, if you're like, what is entheogenic? That's like the master plant world or the micro space dose world. There's loads of context within just that frame. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is we're in a new moon. New moon vibes are very internal. They're for the inside. Like as a witchy person, um, you know, we're meant to be dreaming up our realities in the new moon. Yeah. So it's kind of like it reminds me of a flower that goes to bed at night and then it blooms during the day. It's kind of like the new moon is in bed, you know, kind of, kind of like that. So, yeah. Then the other thing is, I'm actually really tired. I am here from a space of not that I can't sleep, but this irritability energy that has been moving through me in the last 2 days specifically. And I wanted to kind of express that a little bit in the sense of like how it is normal to have different waves. And I think like I suppose I share a lot with you about various different things. Some of you are listening here, some of you are listening YouTube, some of you listen through different vessels that I'm sharing on. And I want to talk about that as well because I have promised. So things have just been quite busy. I've been going through my my back repair. This is why I don't let my hair down when I'm talking to you, because this is what I'm going to be doing for the whole time I'm talking to you, is playing with it. It's kind of like brushing it actually. It's like untangling it. But so yeah, so like coming on doing these lives here. So I have my podcast, which so in the background there's been this kind of there's been a lot of movement and churning happening, so that none of you can see, and very little people, a few people definitely know about it. And that is, there's a really nice gathering, I would say, just a gathering growing. And I'm not going to give the details yet actually, because what happened was it was meant to be one thing and then it's like transforming into something else. And like that's often what happens, is I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then it just kind of like decides and nurtures itself into something else, which is pretty cool. So that's been going on, and missed that. So that's why my podcast has kind of been a pause at the moment. I'm sure I have some episodes that I need to get up there, so do check them out if you've never checked out my podcast. They're kind of like a little bit like this, but maybe different and maybe the same. I've been thinking about just throwing these as audios up in as a podcast. Probably not, because I have a snoring dog. So and he's right next to me as well. This is also why it's really nice to do these in the evening, because just, yeah, it's just nice to spend time with Woody and doing nothing else, which obviously I spend time with him, but he's not allowed on the couch. He's not allowed on the couch if Lucas is around. So when I'm here on my own, he can kind of sneak up here with me. And then he just loves sleeping there with me. But and he loves it so much. Every time he gets up, he's like sneezing and cuteness. So there is, and just a little bit of presence about Woody. Woody's 14 and he has a lot of health issues that he had before he got old, but they've obviously progressed as they got old, and so now he is in this time where like if he lives another year, that's going to be long in reality. But you never know with these little hardy terriers. Like You know, if anyone knew him before, they would have thought he'd be long gone, but he's not long gone. He's long still here. He's kind of hilarious, really. I want to show you these really cute pumpkins. I actually put them on the rad because I think they might dry out and I might be able to keep them. They're ornamental pumpkins. They're cute from Samhain. Might have shown them before, but this is like one. Look at this. So amazing. So where will I start? So I want to talk a little bit about the master plant journeys, or the rise, I suppose, of people ingesting medicines now, and those of us that have been quite connected to that space for a very long time. What are you doing? I might have to go because he might need something. What do you want? What do you want? You know, those of us who have been around for a very long time have different views or approaches to it than maybe the people that are just kind of coming out in the more recent years. And what's happening is, besides my direct study with the plants, or the master plants, or plants as a self, like the plant world, there's, you know, all my mental study, I don't know how we call that, academic study, and research, and a lot of things, and the communities that come with that. And so, like, I have felt really blessed, I suppose, to be very entangled in that space for quite a long time, and longer than I even thought in some ways. And I feel like I've really got the tone, if that makes sense, about what's going on in our world around it. And it's not all pretty pictures and butterflies, you know. It's like it isn't, and it's actually quite effed up out there as well, and there's a lot of dark stuff happening, and it's very complicated. You just, like everything, it's complicated. So I suppose the reason why I'm talking with this is that, like, I had you know, you get a lot of people that are looking to ride the waves of trends, and we are going to we are in a big recession. There's no question we're in a big what do we call those, global economic fucking crisis thing, like that is happening. Like, I don't believe, if anyone thinks that that's not happening, like, you just it hasn't hit you yet, and the tsunami is coming, because I've really noticed that massively in Ireland, and I don't know why I noticed so quickly in Ireland. I think it's because we have such a polarity of, in scale of Ireland, we have poverty and we have wealth. And I know that's different in different countries, right? But in Ireland, we have there's quite a range. So we have our own little crisis here, but then I've seen it throughout the countries in the world, and just being in the world of business for quite a long time, you can just see what's happening, and you can just feel it, and you can just see how everyone's moving, and you can just see the everyone's like, it's fine, but actually there's a huge fear. You know, maybe someone's like bought their house or bought a new car, or like other issues, like health issues or whatever, and they're just like, oh my god, my income was X and now it's not. And it's really crap, but that is the reality. And when it comes to the world of the spiritual world, we have quite a range that's happening. We have people that don't really need to make money from this work because they have other income or other ways to support themselves. And then you have people that are, you know, millionaires, probably billionaires as well, billionaires out there that are feasting on on the spiritualism coaching world, or whatever you want to call it. It's a whole range of stuff. So, you have a big range, and in the end of the day, like, like, it's like this, everyone's like this, or then everyone's like this, like, So we're in the big tsunami right now, and that's why I call it a crash. Like, the tsunami gets really big and then it wipes everything out. It's kind of funny, actually, how money and tsunamis. So, and this kind of wasn't really going to be like, as you know, I come on here and I don't really have a intentional goals to get into the conversation here, but there was actually something there that popped, was actually the money part around the master plans part is really a really big piece, because that's why a lot of people have gotten into that work, because they can see it as a big profitable business. But lo behold, that will come with a lot of question marks and consequences. So, like, the industry of that is kind of in a weird place where it's booming, but it's also more it booms, the more toxic it's getting somehow. Like, anyway, this is a whole other conversation, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone's interested in it. But so the kind of thing with all that is, what I'm saying is, you don't need any of it. In the reality, you don't need anything of it. And that flips me back to I fell upon one of my teachers, which is Wilbert Alex Wilbert. Oh my god, I can't say his name right now. But anyway, and trance dance ritual, basically, it's like one of the people I'm certified with, along with many others. And I did that, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, even longer, actually. It was like 12 years ago, or 13 years ago, or 14 years ago. But, like, I basically used to run those events and yada yada. But, like, the point I'm trying to make is that, we use breath work in that workshop. And that was long before, the world of breathwork got really trendy, and that people started talking about an equal breathwork is equal to a DMT experience, or a outer body experience. And it's like, okay, let's peel it back right now. Like, when you go into the world of Tantra, like, there's always been breath work. There's been breath work forever. I just want to put that out there. Like, I hate how everyone's like, this is a new thing. No, it's ancient. It's so ancient. It's like, trance has been ancient. Breath work is ancient. So that's why the trance dance ritual is based off ancient ritual, because Wilbert was African, had African origins. I don't know where he actually was from, but he lived in Hawaii. And he was very connected with his African roots, and he studied with a lot of indigenous people. He had passed away in the recent years, unfortunately. I had great opportunities of assisting with him and doing. I did one of his trainings, and then I was going to do his second one. The timing wasn't there, and then of course he passed away, or I wasn't doing it, and maybe I would have, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, it is the way it is now. And so it's very, very deep work. And I, it's because I was already a shamanic practitioner. I've talked about this before, and that's why I felt attracted to it. So I, I've talked about this a lot, that like why I never went towards the psychedelic space or the entheogenic space over the years, even though there was, when I was younger, and then there was patches where there was nothing, like it was super clean living. And not that ingesting is not clean, it's just like I just didn't have anything else in my system. And I, like, for me, you know, going into trance or going into divine connection or channeling, or some people, like, they're all actually all very different, but like going into a kundalini state, going into a deep meditative state, there's lots of different words for those, a psychedelic state without ingesting medicines, like, they were just like things that like I was able to invoke and tap into, and still am. And long ago, and like I suppose in some ways, like, I was able to do those things before I went and trained in those things, and that's kind of like why, you know, why I knew about those. I suppose it was just like a natural form of my journey. But like, what happened was, I'm kind of thinking, first of all, I'm tired. Second, my brother said to me one day, "You're way easier to follow when you're tired." That's always good to know. The medicine, and I actually know, because I never had to tap into, this kind of falls into addiction. So like, addiction for me is a very scary line where people need to be very careful, even with the master plant world or any of the fungi or anything, because the world of addiction, we can say that they're not addictive, but the reality of addiction can be really masked quite well with a lovely bit of shadow there. And taking big spaces of not using substances, and I'm even talking about like rapé and ganja, and people that smoke, which I personally don't believe that smoking is a spiritual practice. You know, using tobacco is, but smoking isn't. And I used to be a smoker. I used to be a very heavy smoker when I was younger. And that's my personal relationship with that. So either way, you know, going super clean from substances means that you can kind of go back to your true self. Going back to the following session that I talked about the last night, was like going back to your true self, which is basically like, you know, the reality is like, the master plants are ingesting anything, even ingesting food as we know it, changes us. So when you go back to removing all these things, and I'm just going to talk about ganja for example, that like, if you, I'm using that word in purpose for multiple reasons, but like, if you stop ingesting that medicine, a lot of hard stuff happens for people, and that's why they don't stop. You know, that's why they have a daily practice. It's probably not a daily practice, but like, it's probably a daily addiction. But there, you know, there, if you have something consistent without breaks, then these plants are so, as a herbalist, we would never prescribe, like, I don't know any herbalist that would do this, but like, I know from my practice and a lot of people that I know, we would never prescribe a herb continuously. It is not good practice. You just don't do that. And that is because we need different things. It's like our food, because food is medicine and herbs are medicinal, food, medicine. So you have to change, like being a holistic practitioner, you have to keep changing the wheel, like, you know, things that keep our moving. So like, if you keep the same plant, that's not really natural, because as a forager or someone moves around, we use different cycles. It's not going to work. So I'm like, oh my god, it's turning into a master workshop here. But anyway, so that's why I actually just do loads of different subjects, because I'm like, I actually would just end up teaching like a whole workshop rather than just teaching or just sharing. So but you can see how for me they're all intertangled into this trippy, external bliss, connected, channeling, creativity, getting downloads, whatever it is. And then how that's connected with all the food, the herbs, the medicines. How it doesn't matter how you get there, whether it's through your yoga practice, your dance practice, your something practice. For me, it's everything. That's just like how I roll. Like it's just my practice. It's just how I am. And sound, of course. I'm looking at my shamanic drum now with sound. So I am. Yeah, it feels like I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do a little sound in this moment. Oh na, oh na, oh na, oh na. And I love the sound of my dog snoring. He's so cute. So what happened? So frustration. So I'm going to say what frustration. So like when energy is moving around us and energy is shifting through us, our frustration. I'm so tired right now. As I said, like I'm not meant to be here. I'm meant to be asleep. But the frustration energy that is there, that frustration energy is because there's something moving through the body, the blood. It could be toxins. It could be unsettled chi. It could be too much fire. It could be irritation is kind of more of a vata energy, a pitta and a vata energy. So it's very much, it needs to move more. So like what I would do is if there's an irritability energy, I would move it. Some people might meditate into it. I've also done that, but like it's not my go-to. For me, how it works better is if I move the energy and I just like, like transmute it into something else. So that's interesting. And like to come back to the why, so your relationship, the people you're around, your environment, your home environment, why is it making you irritated? The people you're around, why is it making you irritated? Yourself, why are you making yourself irritated? Your body, why are you making yourself irritated? It feels like this is a total master workshop. But anyway, so like a sleepy master workshop. But like you actually need to, chime in with what those things are. Like, did you drink like a Coke or something? You're probably going to be a bit irritable after that. It's come down from the sugar, toxic. Your kidneys and your liver are going to be like itching to get out. So we have all these different aspects. And another reason why I actually want to come on here is because I want to talk about these formats here that I'm doing. So I'm doing them because I haven't been doing them in other forms. I have been very busy and I am happy to kind of do them like this. I'm just happy to turn up casually when it suits me. Yeah. Not ready for camera, in PJ vibe. And I actually kind of love that because everyone is so effing perfect on social media now. It's just so boring. I just actually really find this platform so like incredibly interesting to watch because it's amazing. It actually sums up our reality, how buffered everything can look and how kind of idolized everyone's life looks and I feel like sometimes maybe people have that projection on the outside for my life, like, oh, she has a perfect life and my life's bad and I don't have this, she has that. And I'm like, really? Do you want to come and ask me? Like, I'm not going to come out here and like share everything, but like come and ask me, come and have a conversation. about my life. If you really want to know, there's, it's an open conversation. I say all the time on my lives, on my chats, on my stories, like, ask me, talk to me, like, let me know how you are. Like, I'd like to know who you are. So it is an open invitation. It's, maybe everything else on Instagram is very like, this is me and that's you. But like, I don't really see it like that. I just see this kind of as a different place in some ways. It doesn't mean I'm going to have a 2-hour conversation with you, but it means that it'd be nice to just check in, see who you are, what you're doing. If I already know you, what's up, just because I haven't talked to you recently. Like, I really like engaging with people. Yeah, like, for me, the world's getting very busy, and the world's getting very busy, but the world's been quite busy quite a long time. And I'm getting in a different place. Like, I've been saying, like, oh, I'm busy. I'm like, I'm busy, but I have slow paces. Like, I'm in a pacing, not like, million plates turning. I'm actually just very like kind of steady Neddy more so, but that's because I don't want to be churning all these plates, because I know it's not good for you. So what happens was, I yes, like, over the years I found that, like, I have so many connections over the years, and like, over the years the connections have been lost, like, through friendships, and then connections have been lost for lots of different reasons. But like, some of the reasons is because those people don't ask me how I am, even though I might have checked in with them multiple times, or yeah, they just haven't checked in with me. And to be honest, like, if someone calls me their friend, but they don't really like have a check-in with me, then I'm not sure we really are friends anymore, because we might be friends, but we're not friends. We're not as deep friendships as we possibly thought we were, or what I thought we were. So like, I understand for some people it's different, but for me, like, I want to know how people are. I want to know what they're up to. I want to know, are they okay? I want to have a conversation. Like, I like being in connection with my friends. And sometimes, that's not being in person, because we don't live close, or we're busy with different various things that life does. But you can have a connection through an online text message, or just, what are you up to? And then just like, I'm really good, or actually things are tough, or my plant died, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So like, they're kind of important, whereas we're living in this like time where people spend all their time on the phone. That's not connection. Like, I see people that are following me, I see your comments, I see, like, I'm like, but we can have more connection, but we're just in a really, really weird time. So this comes around to my next comment, and I think then I'm going to start to roll it up and leave, because this was just like a random share of thing. But is that the conversation of where things are going. So there's a lot of new shifts and changes that are going to come out in 2025. But one of those will be, I'm going to promise myself a little bit less of these, because I would like to invest in doing something differently. So I'm looking at some different options for that, and lots of teachings. If you're not on my newsletter already, get on it, because I do share a lot of the events, of course, because like, how else are you gonna hear about them? But there will be times where I'll just be like, connecting in deeper, and getting to know you deeper, and yeah, like over the Christmas holidays now I'll have a little bit of time, so I'm looking forward to that. um I don't like sharing much here. I like sharing with you in that space deeper. um Thank you for having this evening. We're also looking at the New Year's party for anyone that is in Cork or interested in coming down for it. If you are interested in that, but maybe the times of the late night don't suit you, or the length of the event doesn't suit you, or the cost of the event doesn't suit you, let us know, because we're looking at alterating it into maybe a day event only, a shorter evening event only, because I just feel like it's not the most ideal time for everyone. It's grand, say for me, and Lucas, like, I don't have kids anymore. I do have kids, but they're all grown up. Um, you know, like for me, New Year's it's irrelevant if I spend it sleeping. I've often spent it sleeping. Like if I'm around people, great. Like if I'm not, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm very let it go. I don't have a big deal around it. Some people do. So yeah, I just feel like you yeah, I just feel like we want to try and create a dynamic where people can come, but it suits people. Like maybe people are like, I actually want to be asleep by like 11 o'clock, So if that's you, that would be really nice to hear from you. And we'll try and see what's kind of the most in the consensus, and then kind of decide from there. And I might go ahead as it is, but we're just kind of putting it out there just to try and accommodate the community as much as possible, because we'd love to be hanging out with y'all. Okay, much love to you, and I will be going and talk to you soon. Sláinte.